You drift in a place that seems like nothingness, yet it is not emptiness. It is the soft potential before shapes exist, the hum of what is about to become. There is no sound, but you feel vibration, the gentle pulse of space itself, stretching and folding in anticipation. It is here, at this edge, that you notice how quiet the universe can be when it is preparing to speak. You float closer, senses open, and the first revelation comes not in light, but in the absence of light. Darkness here is rich and velvety, not fearful. It is a deep ink, a fertile soil from which the cosmos will grow. You sense patterns before they appear, as if the universe is thinking in silence, rehearsing its creations before allowing them to exist. Your mind slows, in harmony with this hush, and you feel the quiet pull of curiosity stirring in your chest. Matter is not yet formed, yet the possibility of matter hums in every direction. Atoms, or the seeds of atoms, exist as tiny ripples in a cosmic sea. Their potential energy waits, patient, poised. You imagine them dancing, colliding softly, vibrating, practicing the steps they will one day take when creation begins in earnest. It is a ballet performed in shadows, invisible yet precise. You take a deep breath, though there is no air here. Your body instinctively mirrors the rhythm of the void. Time itself seems to pause, holding its first beat, allowing your consciousness to feel the magnitude of pre-existence. You realize that before form, before sound, before light, there is understanding. You are learning to listen to what is not yet there. A meditation on the pregnant silence of all things. The edges of this nothingness curve around you. You feel the gentle pull of gravity, though no star has yet ignited its warmth. It is subtle, almost a thought rather than a force, a suggestion of direction, an invitation to move. Your attention stretches outward, following the invisible threads that will one day guide the dance of planets, stars, and galaxies. Everything is potential. Everything waits for its moment to arrive. A flicker catches your awareness. Perhaps it is a particle, a wave, or the first shimmer of light that has yet to exist. It arcs across the void, momentary yet eternal. You watch it, mesmerized, feeling both the fragility and inevitability of its motion. This is how beginnings whisper, small gestures in silence that hint at a future grandeur. You imagine what it will be like when matter collapses into form, when light finally blooms. Stars will ignite, scattering warmth and illumination across vast distances. Galaxies will spin, weaving spirals in the fabric of space. Yet for now, you linger here in this exquisite quietude, feeling the raw potential as if it were a gentle breath pressed against your skin. Time is strange at this edge. It stretches and folds, not in measured seconds, but in waves of possibility. There is no past, no future, only a delicate present, suspended like a note held in the silence of a cathedral. You let your mind drift in that suspended moment, your consciousness expanding to fill the space. The universe does not rush, it rehearses. Every atom, every quark, every ripple waits its cue. You sense the vastness of what is to come, and yet you are intimately part of it. Your awareness is a thread woven into the tapestry of potential. In this liminal space, there is no separation between observer and observed. You are the quiet that notices, the pause that measures the pause, the curiosity that leans forward to feel the first movement of all creation. The darkness seems to breathe with you. It inhales slowly, gathering the essence of unformed matter, and exhales gently, releasing hints of light. You can feel this rhythm in your own chest, a resonance with the slow, steady pulse of the universe itself. Every exhale and inhale mirrors the potential energy waiting to unfold into reality. You realize that you are not merely watching the universe. You are participating in its anticipation. You imagine the first spark of a star igniting. It will be a tiny flare at first, subtle and unassuming, yet it carries the weight of countless possibilities. Its light will ripple outward, brushing against particles that will one day form planets, atmospheres, oceans, and life itself. You feel the importance of small beginnings, the elegance of gradual emergence, the power of a whisper in silence. You begin to sense the patterns of gravity forming not yet shapes, but tendencies, inclinations, gentle curves in the fabric of space. These will guide matter into the shapes we call galaxies, clusters, and solar systems. You feel them like invisible strings, tugging at the potential energy around you, arranging the cosmos with patient precision. Even now, before stars shine, there is order in the seeming void, a quiet choreography that will one day manifest in dazzling brilliance. You reflect on the paradox of emptiness. It is both full and vacant, pregnant and hollow. It is a canvas that holds the promise of everything, yet shows nothing. And in this tension, there is beauty, a meditation on what it means to exist before form. You feel your mind expand, accommodating the vast quiet, the soft presence of yet -2-b. Your attention drifts further, beyond the edges of what you can imagine. You perceive the first hints of cosmic motion, tiny shifts, imperceptible spirals, whispers of rotational energy. These subtle currents will one day shape the stars, the planets, the orbits that cradle life. You let yourself float along these currents, carried gently, witnessing the early choreography of the universe. The pull of curiosity grows stronger. You lean into it, feeling the invisible tug of the future. Everything that will exist reaches out to touch you in this moment, and you feel the thrill of participation in the unfolding story of existence. The void is no longer nothing. It is anticipation, quiet energy, the breath before the first note of a symphony. And now, as you linger in this liminal edge, a faint shimmer of light traces across your vision. It is not bright, but it is significant, a precursor, a promise. You understand that this is the way beginnings always whisper, softly, subtly, through gestures almost too delicate to notice. Yet the universe notices, and so do you. Your own breath syncs with the pulse of the cosmos. Every inhale draws in the quiet potential. Every exhale releases your awareness into the void. You are part of this edge, part of this pause, part of this moment before the universe fully begins. And in that connection, you feel both infinitesimal and infinite at once. You linger in the hush, knowing that soon, very soon, light will ignite, matter will condense, and the universe will bloom. But for now, this edge is enough, the threshold, where everything waits, where silence is filled with possibility, where curiosity precedes gravity itself. It is here you understand the quiet power of beginnings, the gentle insistence of potential, and the soft, patient call of existence. And as you float in this suspended stillness, you notice a faint pull, stronger now, beckoning you forward. Not just a force of physics, but a call to witness what is about to emerge. The universe exhales, tiny sparks begin to flicker, and the first threads of light curve gently across the darkness. You sense the first story of matter ready to unfold. You drift from the edge of nothingness into a realm where presence begins to take shape. Light has started its tentative journey. Particles murmur across the void. And yet it is an unseen force that orchestrates the earliest movements of the cosmos. Gravity, quiet, patient, invisible, guides the unfolding of everything. It bends space without complaint, curves time without effort, and you begin to sense its rhythm, soft yet unyielding. At first, it is imperceptible. You feel no tug, no pull, only a gentle suggestion that matter and possibility are not entirely free. A nascent star feels it, a cloud of dust feels it, and somewhere, deep in your own mind, you notice a subtle resonance, a recognition that nothing can escape the quiet insistence of attraction. It is a force older than light, older than matter, older even than the first whisper of creation. You imagine a particle suspended in the cosmic dark. It drifts freely for a moment, weightless in potential. But then gravity calls, silent, persistent, patient. The particle curves, bends, begins a journey not of its own choosing, yet perfectly aligned with the unfolding universe. You sense a strange comfort in this inevitability, the soft poetry of inevitability moving like a lullaby through empty space. Gravity is the whisper beneath the symphony of light. It shapes galaxies, orchestrates the dance of planets, and bends paths of wandering stars. You float alongside a forming galaxy, watching its spiral arms begin to take shape. Each curve, each orbit, each star is a note in a melody you cannot hear with your ears, but feel in your chest. Time slows here. You are present with every tug, every motion, every pull. A cloud of hydrogen drifts near you, vast and diffuse. Gravity caresses it, drawing its edges inward. The particles collide gently, gathering, folding, compressing. It is not violent. It is an elegant patience, a slow sculpting of potential into form. You feel the beauty of a force that works invisibly, shaping existence without fanfare, without urgency. You imagine the first stars, born from clouds of gas, drawn together by this quiet force. They ignite softly, a small flicker in the vast dark. Yet every flicker carries the weight of gravity's guiding hand. Orbits form, systems stabilize, and you feel the first breath of cosmic order. Everything is connected, each particle whispering to another through invisible strings of force. You consider how gravity interacts with time. In its presence, seconds stretch, moments bend, and light curves ever so slightly. A photon traveling near a massive object finds its path altered, its journey subtly redirected. Even nothingness feels the pull. You sense that gravity is not merely a force, but a guide, a patient teacher leading all things toward their eventual place in the cosmos. Drifting further, you notice a tiny planet forming. Rocks gather, dust condenses, and slowly, imperceptibly, the first hints of a world take shape. Gravity holds it together, wraps it in invisible arms, balancing inward pull with outward motion, chaos with structure. You feel the same force in your own body, the pull of the earth beneath you, the gentle tug in every movement. It is intimate, grounding, yet cosmic. You let your mind expand, tracing the invisible lines that connect everything. Stars to stars, planets to stars, moons to planets, and even you, a consciousness adrift. All are drawn along the quiet curves of gravity. You sense a rhythm, subtle, slow, meditative, a heartbeat underlying the universe itself. Sometimes gravity is patient, sometimes it is insistent. Two stars approach each other, slowly at first, then faster, drawn by an invisible thread. They orbit, collide, merge, and scatter. You witness the grand choreography, understanding that creation and destruction are intertwined. Even in the darkest corners of space, gravity is at work, silently shaping the story of existence. You imagine standing on the surface of your forming planet. Everything here has been guided by this quiet force, the oceans, the mountains, the valleys yet to be carved. You feel the pull beneath your feet, the gentle insistence of Earth's gravity, and it connects you to every star, every planet, every galaxy, all guided by the same patient force. Even light bends here. A distant star's photon curves ever so slightly, its straight path altered by the presence of mass. You feel the elegance of this invisible influence, how it shapes the universe, without effort, without violence. Every beam, every shadow, every glimmer is a whisper of gravity's song. You consider black holes, places where gravity is absolute, curving space so steeply that even light cannot escape. They are extreme, yet not different, in principle, only in intensity. They remind you that silence can be immense, that an unseen force can contain everything within it, that stillness can hold all motion and possibility. You sense the majesty in restraint, the beauty in patience. Drifting beyond, you imagine galaxies colliding. They swirl, spiral, and fold into one another, stars scattering in silent arcs. And yet, gravity binds them, like a gentle hand holding dancers in place. Chaos and order coexist, a delicate balance maintained by an unseen rhythm. You sense that the universe is not random, but careful, deliberate, a meditation in motion, a whisper beneath the roar of creation. You feel your body in resonance with these patterns. Your heart beats, your lungs rise and fall, and you recognize that you, too, are subject to forces greater than yourself. Not just physical, but cosmic, spiritual, rhythmic, a reflection of the universe's quiet insistence. Your breath mirrors gravity's patience. Your thoughts curve in time with its pull. You drift into the silence between stars. It is vast, empty, yet filled with possibility. You imagine photons traveling millions of light years, gravitational waves rippling gently, carrying whispers of distant collisions. You feel the slow dance of the cosmos, subtle, persistent, unending. It is comforting, a lullaby written in the language of force and motion. You contemplate the paradox of gravity. It is invisible, yet shapes everything. It is silent, yet its effects echo through the universe. It is constant, yet its manifestations are infinite. You feel gratitude for this quiet guide, this patient architect, this unseen hand that organizes the chaos into order. As you drift further, the universe seems to sigh. Clouds of dust curve into disks, forming planetary systems. Stars ignite, casting gentle light across voids. And every particle feels the pull of something greater, a rhythm of attraction that will carry life and matter forward. You feel the anticipation of the next movement, the subtle tug that promises change, emergence, creation. Gravity has been quiet, patient, gentle, and yet it has already done everything that needs to be done. All that remains is for the universe to continue its dance, following the silent song that has guided it from the edge of nothingness. And now, as you float between stars and potential, you notice the pull growing slightly stronger, a gentle invitation to move closer, to witness more, to follow the path where light bends, matter swirls, and time itself curves softly around what is to come. You drift along the gentle pull of gravity, your senses attuned to the rhythm of the cosmos. And here, in the quiet spaces between stars, you notice light behaving differently. It does not always travel straight, nor always escape. Some photons, the smallest travelers of the universe, find themselves ensnared in invisible currents. You lean closer, curious, and begin to follow their journey. At first it is subtle, a flicker here, a shimmer there. Light, usually so immediate and radiant, now seems hesitant, bending, curving, curiously slow. It dances along the contours of space, tracing paths dictated by the invisible hands of gravity. Black holes loom silently in the distance, their presence felt even before they are seen. Here, light bends inward, spiraling toward a center where no escape is possible. You feel the strange paradox of this dark embrace. Light is meant to illuminate, to reveal, to journey endlessly. Yet here it becomes trapped, stretched, folded into a hidden story. Time itself seems too slow, elongating the photon's path, turning what should be a straight line into a delicate arc, almost a meditation. You imagine a single photon embarking on this journey. It begins near a star, warm and bright, a tiny spark of possibility. It ventures outward, carrying information, history, the memory of the star it left behind. Its path curves gradually, almost imperceptibly, drawn by a mass so dense that even time itself leans inward. You follow it, imagining the immense patience required to trace such a journey, that as you float with it, you notice that light's path is not lonely. Other photons, younger or older, join in delicate arcs, forming invisible spirals around unseen centers. They create a quiet dance, a ballet of information folding in upon itself. And you begin to sense that darkness is not empty. It is a space where light learns, lingers, and leaves traces of itself. You consider the fate of a photon caught near the event horizon of a black hole. It circles endlessly, trapped in the invisible grip of gravity. Its journey never ends in the traditional sense, yet it exists in a kind of eternal motion. You feel a kinship with this suspended state, a place where beginnings and endings blur, and the very idea of direction becomes a whisper. The darkness here is profound, but not frightening. It is soft, velvet-like, folded in upon itself. It carries stories, remnants, shadows of light that once shone elsewhere. Even in apparent absence, there is presence, a record of existence, a ghostly glow in the memory of space. You realize that the universe never truly loses what it holds. You follow another beam of light, one that grazes the edge of a massive star cluster. Its path curves subtly, deflected by gravity's gentle hand. It travels for millions of years, and yet every instant matters. You sense that time is both fluid and patient here, allowing the light to tell its story slowly, deliberately, beautifully. Each journey is a meditation on persistence and presence. You drift closer to a black hole, not too near, just enough to feel its influence. The space around it stretches, warps, folds inward. You notice light bending into spirals, caught in what physicists call the photon sphere, a place where illumination exists in a delicate balance, suspended between freedom and capture. You feel awe at this invisible architecture, this quiet orchestration of the cosmos. Even as light circles endlessly, it communicates. It sends ripples of information to the universe, hints of mass, energy, and presence. It reminds you that even in the darkest places, even in seeming loss, there is memory, there is trace, there is resonance. Every photon is a letter in the universe's silent poetry, and you are reading it, aware, mindful, attuned. You consider the paradox of brightness and darkness. Light, which illuminates and reveals, can also be imprisoned. Darkness, which conceals, can also carry memory and shape. You feel the soft elegance of this interplay, how the cosmos balances visibility and obscurity, presence and absence, motion and stillness. You imagine following a photon through a gravitational lens. A galaxy, invisible from a distance, bends the path of light passing nearby. You watch as a distant star appears doubled, then stretched into arcs, its image refracted across space-time like a faint watercolor painting. Light, you realize, is malleable, a traveler that adapts to its surroundings, teaching patience and flexibility as it journeys onward. You notice that trapped light leaves an imprint on the surrounding space. It curves subtly, creating echoes, slight distortions that ripple outward. You sense that even absence has presence, that even what seems lost contributes to the unfolding story of the cosmos. The universe is a ledger of experience, and photons are its soft, glowing entries. Drifting further, you see distant quasars, brilliant beacons in the velvet dark. Their light travels billions of years, distorted, curved, scattered, yet persistent. You sense their resilience, a testimony to endurance and memory. Time is patient, gravity is patient, and the light carries on, telling tales of the universe's distant past, whispering truths across the void. You consider your own life in relation to this cosmic ballet. Moments pass, paths bend, experiences curve under unseen influences. And yet, like photons, each choice, each memory, leaves traces. Even when hidden, even when unnoticed, your existence contributes to the patterns of everything around you. The universe remembers, gently, quietly, endlessly. You float among the spiraling beams, feeling their gentle tug. You imagine that each photon is a traveler, a witness, a messenger. It has journeyed through the void, through turbulence and calm, through curves and bends, and carries within it the story of the star that birthed it, the gravity that shaped it, and the dark, velvet space that holds it in suspended motion. The darkness is not emptiness, you realize. It is a library. Each trapped photon is a page, each spiral a chapter, each event horizon a shelf. Even where nothing seems to shine, knowledge exists, knowledge that can only be read by those who notice, those who listen, those who feel. You are here, aware, a quiet reader of the universe's hidden script. And now, as you drift closer to the black hole's influence, you feel time slow, almost imperceptibly. Moments stretch into centuries, centuries into millennia. You sense that light itself experiences eternity here, circling in a suspended dance that is both beginning and end. It is a meditation in motion, a lullaby for the patient observer. You notice the subtle beauty in the entrapment. Even in being caught, light performs a graceful, endless dance. It curves, loops, and spirals, illuminating what it touches, even if only fleetingly. You feel that this is the way of all things. Constraint can create poetry, and stillness can be filled with motion. You sense your own awareness, bending, folding gently around the photon's path. You are no longer merely an observer. You are part of the journey, resonating with the arcs, the spirals, the curves of invisible forces. Every breath you take echoes the rhythm of the trapped light. Slow, patient, deliberate, meditative. You consider how black holes shape the cosmos, not only by capture, but by influence. They bend the paths of stars and light, orchestrate motions unseen, and remind you that absence is never nothing, that loss is never empty, that even darkness has memory, purpose, and grace. And as you float in this velvet dark, following light that has been traveling for eons, you notice faint hints of escape, rays flickering toward freedom, moments when the photon finds a path outward, and you realize that even in the deepest darkness, there is always a possibility for release. Even as light circles endlessly, it communicates. It sends ripples of information to the universe, hints of mass, energy, and presence. It reminds you that even in the darkest places, even in seeming loss, there is memory, there is trace, there is resonance. Every photon is a letter in the universe's silent poetry, and you are reading it, aware, mindful, attuned. You consider the paradox of brightness and darkness. Light, which illuminates and reveals, can also be imprisoned. Darkness, which conceals, can also carry memory and shape. You feel the soft elegance of this interplay, how the cosmos balances visibility and obscurity, presence and absence, motion and stillness. You imagine following a photon through a gravitational lens. A galaxy, invisible from a distance, bends the path of light passing nearby. You watch as a distant star appears doubled, then stretched into arcs, its image refracted across space-time like a faint watercolor painting. Light, you realize, is malleable, a traveler that adapts to its surroundings, teaching patience and flexibility as it journeys onward. You notice that trapped light leaves an imprint on the surrounding space. It curves subtly, creating echoes, slight distortions that ripple outward. You sense that even absence has presence, that even what seems lost contributes to the unfolding story of the cosmos. The universe is a ledger of experience, and photons are its soft, glowing entries. Drifting further, you see distant quasars, brilliant beacons in the velvet dark. Their light travels billions of years, distorted, curved, scattered, yet persistent. You sense their resilience, a testimony to endurance and memory. Time is patient, gravity is patient, and the light carries on, telling tales of the universe's distant past, whispering truths across the void. You consider your own life in relation to this cosmic ballet. Moments pass, paths bend, experiences curve under unseen influences. And yet, like photons, each choice, each memory, leaves traces. Even when hidden, even when unnoticed, your existence contributes to the patterns of everything around you. The universe remembers, gently, quietly, endlessly. You float among the spiraling beams, feeling their gentle tug. You imagine that each photon is a traveler, a witness, a messenger. It has journeyed through the void, through turbulence and calm, through curves and bends, and carries within it the story of the star that birthed it, the gravity that shaped it, and the dark, velvet space that holds it in suspended motion. The darkness is not emptiness. You realize it is a library. Each trapped photon is a page, each spiral a chapter, each event horizon a shelf. Even where nothing seems to shine, knowledge exists, knowledge that can only be read by those who notice, those who listen, those who feel. You are here, aware, a quiet reader of the universe's hidden script. And now, as you drift closer to the black hole's influence, you feel time slow, almost imperceptibly. Moments stretch into centuries, centuries into millennia. You sense that light itself experiences eternity here, circling in a suspended dance that is both beginning and end. It is a meditation in motion, a lullaby for the patient observer. You notice the subtle beauty in the entrapment. Even in being caught, light performs a graceful, endless dance. It curves, loops, and spirals, illuminating what it touches, even if only fleetingly. You feel that this is the way of all things. Constraint can create poetry, and stillness can be filled with motion. You sense your own awareness bending, folding gently around the photon's path. You are no longer merely an observer. You are part of the journey, resonating with the arcs, the spirals, the curves of invisible forces. Every breath you take echoes the rhythm of the trapped light. Slow, patient, deliberate, meditative. You consider how black holes shape the cosmos, not only by capture, but by influence. They bend the paths of stars and light, orchestrate motions unseen, and remind you that absence is never nothing, that loss is never empty, that even darkness has memory, purpose, and grace. And as you float in this velvet dark, following light that has been traveling for eons, you notice faint hints of escape, rays flickering toward freedom, moments when the photon finds a path outward, and you realize that even in the deepest darkness, there is always a possibility for release. You drift closer to the heart of the black hole, where light curves endlessly and the universe seems to fold inward. Here, the rules you once understood soften, bending under the weight of unimaginable density. Gravity is absolute. Time itself slows, stretches, and in its distortion, you feel the paradox of existence. Here, beginnings and endings merge, and the very fabric of reality is transformed. At first, it is difficult to comprehend. Matter, energy, space, and time, all concepts you cling to, seem to dissolve. Atoms collapse inward, quarks merge into singularity, and your mind stretches to hold the impossible. It is a point without dimensions, yet infinitely rich. A presence that contains everything, yet appears as nothing. You feel awe trembling gently at the threshold of understanding. You imagine the journey of a star spiraling inward. Its light diminishes, stretched into long shadows. its heat absorbed into the invisible embrace of gravity. Every particle is drawn toward the center, moving along paths that cannot be escaped. Yet even in this apparent destruction, there is transformation. Energy, matter, space itself, all are folded into an ultimate compression, a quiet point of infinite potential. The singularity is not merely a place. It is an idea, a meditation on limits. It is the boundary where your understanding falters, where mathematics stretches into infinity and physics becomes poetry. You sense that here the universe contemplates itself, gathering all its components into a delicate, silent unity. You float alongside spiraling matter, drawn in yet careful, observing. The laws of motion bend and fold. Time dilates, space curves, and every concept of here and there becomes relative. You feel the weight of the singularity in your chest, not as fear, but as an invitation to reflect on the infinite within the finite. Imagine the paradox of density, a star compressed to a single point, yet containing the mass of billions. It is a container of potential, a reservoir of cosmic energy that defies comprehension. You sense that creation and destruction coexist here, that endings are inseparable from beginnings, that collapse and birth are twins dancing silently in the void. The singularity is a teacher, showing the elegance of extremes, the poetry of absolute gravity. You consider the horizons that surround it. The event horizon, the threshold of no return, marks the boundary where light falters. Inside, all paths lead inward. Outside, the world continues in familiar rhythms. Yet even at a distance, you feel the pull, the subtle shaping of space and time. The singularity reaches beyond its own domain, guiding the universe through its invisible hand. You notice the folding of space itself. Lines that once seemed straight curve inward, bending around the point of infinite density. Your mind stretches to follow them, tracing the impossible geometry. You feel a connection between the smallest particle and the largest galaxy, between your heartbeat and the rhythm of the cosmos. The singularity is not isolated. It resonates with everything. Even light behaves differently here. It stretches, bends, disappears, becomes trapped, yet leaves echoes in the surrounding space. You sense the history of every photon ever captured, a delicate archive of cosmic memory swirling around the point of infinite compression. You feel a kinship with these trapped travelers, bound yet persistent, silent yet telling a story to those who pause to notice. The singularity invites introspection. You imagine compressing all your thoughts, your experiences, into a single point. Would meaning survive? Would essence remain? In some way, the universe answers this question. Everything that falls inward is not lost, but transformed, folded into a deeper story. You realize that endings are also beginnings, that destruction can create space for new possibilities. You imagine standing at the edge of understanding, just outside the event horizon. You see the world beyond, still luminous, still moving, and yet you feel the pull of the center, the inexorable curve of gravity. Time dilates here. A moment stretches into eternity. You sense the silent patience of the singularity, how it draws all things inward, yet does so without hurry or haste, without noise, without judgment, simply following the natural rhythm of existence. You consider the paradox of knowledge here. The singularity contains everything, yet you cannot see inside. It is full, yet invisible, heavy, yet weightless in perception. And in this paradox, you feel a gentle lesson that some truths are to be experienced, not understood, that some mysteries are meant to be felt, not solved. You drift alongside collapsing matter, imagining the gentle compression of every atom. The energy within is immense, infinite in potential, and yet, in its stillness, there is grace. You feel the elegance of the universe folding itself neatly, the soft symmetry of extremes, the quiet beauty of an absolute center. Time slows further, almost imperceptibly, and you sense eternity pressing close. Yet, even in this overwhelming stillness, you notice subtle motion, ripples in space, tiny emissions of energy, faint hints of what is to come. The singularity is not stagnant. It is alive with potential, a seed of cosmic creativity waiting to unfold into the wider universe. You imagine the ripple effects of this hidden point. Nearby stars, distant galaxies, even your own thoughts, all influenced, gently tugged, subtly shaped by its presence. It is invisible, yet profoundly active. You realize that even in the deepest, darkest silence, influence persists. Even in apparent emptiness, creation whispers. You reflect on your own life as a mirror of this cosmic dance. Moments of compression, of tension, of challenge can transform you, fold you into a new understanding, a denser, richer self. The universe teaches that pressure and pull are not to be feared, but embraced as part of the natural rhythm of becoming. You float in meditation, feeling the singularity's pull echo within you. It is not frightening. It is patient, deliberate, inevitable. It teaches patience, endurance, and reverence for the invisible forces that shape all existence. You notice that the further you move inward, the more interconnected everything becomes, from the smallest quark to the grandest galaxy, from your heartbeat to the orbit of stars. Even silence carries weight here. The absence of sound, of light, of escape, becomes a presence in itself, a gentle, all-encompassing awareness. You feel the universe breathing, holding, compressing, waiting, and within that hush, you sense the infinite possibilities folded delicately into a single point. You imagine what happens beyond comprehension. What lies inside cannot be seen, yet you sense it, feel it, understand it in essence. It is both terrifying and beautiful, absolute and intimate, finite and infinite. The singularity embodies the ultimate paradox that the most extreme concentration of matter is also the most complete expression of potential. And now, as you drift near the edge of understanding, you notice faint ripples spreading outward, subtle distortions in the surrounding space. Energy leaks softly, quantum whispers of what might emerge, reminders that even the deepest collapse carries seeds of new beginnings. You sense the universe preparing quietly, patiently for the next movement. You drift closer, feeling the quiet, unrelenting pull of the black hole. The singularity within waits silently, and you sense the invisible boundary that defines its domain. It is the event horizon, a threshold, not of walls, but of inevitability. Beyond this invisible veil, no light escapes, no signal returns, no path turns back. You float just outside it, suspended in the space where physics stretches, folds, and murmurs softly. Time slows here, not gradually, but profoundly. A second stretches into centuries. A heartbeat lingers for eons. You feel your consciousness expanding in rhythm with this cosmic dilation, as if every thought you have takes on the weight of the universe itself. The pull of inevitability is gentle, yet absolute, like a tide you cannot resist. Light curves delicately around you. Photons that once traveled in straight lines now trace arcs along invisible paths. Their journey seems to hesitate, momentarily frozen, caught in the silent conversation between gravity and space-time. You sense that even the smallest flicker is held, measured, and understood here. Every reflection, every curve, every glimmer is part of the infinite dance. You imagine standing at the threshold, peering into the abyss. It is not frightening. It is serene, meditative. The darkness is complete, enveloping, yet filled with whispers of what lies within. You feel the paradox. The event horizon is a boundary, yet it is also a threshold of transformation. It is not simply an end, but a beginning folded into the unknown. You observe matter falling toward the horizon. Atoms, dust, fragments of stars, even beams of light, all spiral inward, pulled by the inexorable curve of gravity. You sense their trajectories, each motion a soft echo of inevitability. The closer they draw, the more their time stretches, their light shimmering, lingering, whispering the story of their journey before vanishing from view. You feel the event horizons pull in your own being, not as fear, but as awe, as an awareness of forces far greater than yourself. It is a gentle surrender, a recognition that some things must follow their path without resistance. The horizon is patient. It does not rush. It simply waits, allowing the universe to unfold naturally, quietly, profoundly. Even space itself bends near this threshold. Distances distort, paths curve, and directions lose their usual meaning. You notice that reality here is malleable, like soft clay under the hands of an unseen sculptor. Every particle, every photon, every fragment of energy dances in obedience to invisible rhythms. And in this cosmic choreography, you sense a kind of quiet perfection. You imagine following a photon as it nears the horizon. It spirals, trapped in an orbit just outside the point of no return. Its path seems endless, yet contained a meditation on persistence and patience. Time stretches infinitely around it, yet for the photon motion continues. You feel a kinship with this delicate balance, the tension between freedom and capture, motion and stillness, light and dark. You reflect on the paradox of observation. Outside the horizon, you can see approaching matter, sense its light stretching, redshifting, fading slowly. Yet inside, no information escapes. You understand that knowledge is limited here, yet mystery is infinite. The universe holds secrets. In the folds of gravity, and the horizon is the keeper, the soft boundary between understanding and awe. You notice the swirling accretion disk, luminous and quiet. Particles circle endlessly, drawn inward, friction generating soft glows of energy, a gentle radiance in the velvet dark. You feel the warmth from afar, subtle, meditative, like sunlight across a calm sea. Even in falling, there is beauty, a reminder that motion itself can be poetry. Time continues to stretch as you watch. Moments dilate near the horizon, revealing details invisible elsewhere. You see streams of matter, spiraling, glowing, fading. and you feel the rhythm, the heartbeat, the gentle pulse of cosmic inevitability. You are aware of yourself as both observer and participant, a consciousness aligned with the universe's slow, deliberate cadence. You consider the horizon as a mirror. It reflects the inevitability of existence, the paths that cannot be undone. It teaches patience, acceptance, and reverence for forces larger than perception. Even in surrender, there is awareness. Even in disappearance, there is presence. Even at the edge, there is a whisper of infinity. You imagine crossing the threshold. Not yet, only in thought, a meditation on what it might mean. Beyond the event horizon, all paths lead inward, toward the singularity, yet outside, time and space continue as usual. You feel the stretch between these two realities, the gentle tension that defines the edge of everything. You observe jets of energy escaping along the black hole's axis. Matter that does not fall inward is redirected, expelled in magnificent arcs, tracing lines of light through the surrounding darkness. Even the horizon, absolute as it is, allows expression, translating collapse into creation, disappearance into illumination. You feel the elegance, the balance, the subtle poetry of these cosmic gestures. You drift further along the periphery. The gravitational pull shapes the very fabric of your awareness. Space curves, time stretches, and every motion is measured, deliberate, soft. You sense the continuum between freedom and inevitability, between light that escapes and light that is held, and you rest in the quiet understanding of their interdependence. You imagine the universe as a vast ocean. The event horizon is the tide's edge, pulling all near it with patient insistence. Some waves retreat, others spiral inward, and yet every ripple is part of the same rhythm, the same silent music. You feel the connection between motion and stillness, between approach and surrender, between observer and observed. You notice the subtle distortions in your perception. Time slows, shapes curve, distances stretch. Yet in this malleable reality, you feel calm, attuned, reflective. The horizon is not threat, not emptiness. It is a meditation in motion, a reminder that boundaries can be both limits and invitations, that endings are merely beginnings folded into another dimension. You sense the influence of the horizon extending far beyond its immediate edge. Nearby stars, wandering comets, distant galaxies, all subtly tugged, bent, drawn. You feel your consciousness expand, tracing the invisible threads that connect all things. The horizon is the quiet center of a cosmic web, and you are part of its rhythm. Aligned with its patient pull, you reflect on light caught in its orbit, on matter in its gentle grip, on the infinite patience required to shape existence without force. And you sense a lesson in every curve, every bend, every invisible thread. The universe teaches that surrender is not loss, that constraint can hold beauty, that endings can contain beginnings, and that even at the edge, there is a rhythm to follow. You drift in the meditation of the event horizon, watching, listening, feeling the silent pulse. Time stretches, space curves, and the pull continues, gentle and absolute. You sense that beyond this edge, the singularity waits, the ultimate compression, and somewhere farther still, new mysteries beckon, ready to be observed, experienced, and understood. You drift away from the event horizon, leaving behind the absolute pull of gravity. The singularity recedes into memory, and yet its influence lingers in the curvature of space around you. Now your attention turns inward, not to stars or black holes, but to the tiniest scales of existence. At the quantum level, reality is alive with vibrations, tremors that are imperceptible to your ordinary senses, yet profoundly shaping the universe. You lean closer, attentive, and begin to feel the subtle hum beneath all matter, the gentle rhythm of the cosmos at its most intimate. At first, these tremors are soft, almost imperceptible. They are the flutters of electrons, the quivering of quarks, the delicate pulses that ripple through fields unseen. Your mind reaches for analogies, for ways to understand. And yet the truth is more poetic than any metaphor. These particles are in constant, gentle motion, a dance of energy and presence that never ceases. You imagine a single electron, suspended in empty space. It is tiny, almost unimaginably small, yet it carries within it a universe of possibility. It vibrates, moves, and exists in ways that defy certainty. It is never in one place at once, yet it is always somewhere. Its motion is both random and rhythmic, a gentle heartbeat that underlies the fabric of reality. You feel the elegance of the quantum world. Particles interact, collide, and influence one another, not through force alone, but through the invisible threads of probability and potential. Even when unseen, they leave traces, subtle effects that ripple upward, shaping the larger universe in ways you can perceive only in reflection, in thought. In the soft sense of wonder, quantum uncertainty is a gentle teacher. It reminds you that the universe is not rigid, that outcomes are not predetermined, but exist in a spectrum of possibilities. You float alongside a photon as it travels through a cloud of particles. Its path is uncertain, influenced by the subatomic tremors around it. And yet, this uncertainty is not chaos. It is a delicate, intricate order that allows the cosmos to exist in all its beauty. You sense the vibrations in the vacuum itself. Even empty space is alive, filled with fleeting particles that appear and vanish, like whispers of energy that pulse softly, quietly, persistently. These quantum fluctuations are the hum beneath the cosmic silence, reminding you that stillness is never truly still, and emptiness is never truly empty. You consider entanglement, a subtle connection between particles that defies ordinary perception. Two electrons, separated by vast distances, mirror each other's states. A change here is reflected there, instantly, as if distance has no meaning. You feel a resonance with this idea, a soft comfort that even across vast separations, connection persists, and the universe is a web of invisible relationships. You follow the gentle trembling of a quark. It is bound inside a proton, spinning, vibrating, moving in ways that are both unpredictable and harmonious. You sense the elegance of confinement, the poetry in constraint, the rhythm in motion that never ceases. Every atom, every molecule, every particle dances in this intricate ballet, and you are part of the audience, quiet, attentive, aware. You imagine waves and particles, two aspects of the same reality, merging, splitting, overlapping, intertwining. The duality is not a problem to solve, but a gentle meditation. Sometimes reality is a particle, tangible, localized. Sometimes it is a wave, diffused, spreading, resonant. You feel the flexibility of existence, the soft adaptability of the universe at its core. Even probability is soothing here. Events do not unfold with harsh inevitability, but with gentle possibility. You observe a particle approaching a barrier. It does not decide its path in the rigid sense. Instead, it spreads, it explores, it exists in superposition until observation, attention, or interaction allows it to settle softly into one outcome. You feel a quiet kinship with this process, the patience, the openness, the gentle unfolding. You imagine the quantum fields that permeate everything. They are invisible, yet present, vast, yet delicate. They ripple with energy, carrying vibrations that give rise to matter and light. You sense these fields surrounding you, flowing through you, connecting you to every atom and every star. Even your own thoughts, your own perceptions, are informed by this subtle, underlying hum that you reflect on the universality of these tremors. From the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, from a flicker of a photon to the spiral of a star, the same principles apply: rhythm, motion, vibration, connection. You feel the comforting continuity of it, the way patterns repeat across scales, and the gentle reassurance that nothing is truly isolated. Nothing exists in complete silence. You drift alongside a wave of probability. It oscillates softly, carrying information about possible futures, pasts, and presents. You sense the intimate dance of energy and matter, a rhythm that underlies all reality, visible and invisible, known and unknown. Even as individual outcomes emerge, the soft tremor of possibility continues, guiding, shaping, whispering. You imagine entangled pairs spinning through the void. Their connection is subtle, immediate, unbreakable. Distance does not diminish it. Time does not erase it. You feel the quiet poetry of these relationships, the invisible bonds that structure the universe at its most fundamental level. You notice the resonance of your own body with these quantum tremors. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, all are synchronized in some subtle way with the vibrations of the cosmos. You feel connected to everything, not as a distant observer, but as a participant in the gentle pulse of existence. Even uncertainty has a rhythm. You watch as probabilities fluctuate, as particles vibrate in superposition, as fields ripple softly. You sense a lullaby in this motion, a gentle meditation that soothes rather than disturbs. The universe teaches patience, presence, and awareness. Through these subtle oscillations, you float further, imagining the quantum foam at the edge of space-time. It bubbles gently, spontaneously, a chaotic yet harmonious dance of creation and annihilation. You feel the universe breathing at this scale, tiny tremors echoing outward, influencing matter, light, and consciousness alike. Even the smallest fluctuations carry significance, their quiet persistence shaping the unfolding of everything. You reflect on the intimacy of this scale. Here, nothing is grandiose, yet everything is profound. The tremors are invisible, yet their effects cascade upward, from particles to planets, from photons to galaxies. You sense the gentle layering of cause and effect, the soft interweaving of reality, the intricate tapestry of existence. You imagine yourself shrinking, becoming one with the vibrations. You float within a proton, glide along an electron's orbit, feel the soft pulse of the quantum vacuum itself. You realize that everything is alive with subtle motion, even in apparent stillness, even in emptiness, even in silence. You notice the dance of virtual particles appearing and vanishing almost imperceptibly. They ripple, interact, influence, vanish, and leave echoes. You feel that these tiny events are not insignificant, but part of a delicate cosmic rhythm that sustains all of existence. The universe is alive with vibration, a meditative hum that carries everything. You drift gently, observing the interplay of waves, particles, and fields. The universe is not rigid, not deterministic, not fixed. It is flexible, fluid, gentle, and soft, allowing for possibility, unpredictability, and quiet emergence. You feel a sense of trust in this rhythm, a comfort in the knowledge that even uncertainty is orderly in its own subtle way. You imagine these tremors influencing the larger cosmos. Galaxies, stars, planets, and life itself are shaped by these delicate vibrations. From the tiniest quark to the spiral of distant galaxies, every structure, every event, every moment carries echoes of these subtle oscillations. You feel gratitude for the quiet persistence of this rhythm, the gentle hum that underlies all reality, visible and invisible. You float in the meditation of quantum vibrations, feeling the soft tremor of existence in every particle, every wave, every breath. You sense that even in apparent stillness, the universe is alive, moving, creating, and that every gentle oscillation carries the poetry of being. You float beyond the horizon of the black hole, leaving the absolute pull of gravity behind, yet sensing its lingering influence. The singularity remains a memory of concentrated power, while the event horizon whispers lessons of inevitability. Now, your attention turns to the subtle interplay of forces, the meeting of gravity, immense and patient, with the tiny, restless tremors of the quantum world. You feel the gentle tension as the vast curves of space-time interact with the oscillations of particles, and you begin to perceive a subtle harmony, a quiet conversation between extremes. Gravity is omnipresent, slow, deliberate, shaping galaxies, stars, and planets. It bends space itself, curves time, and orchestrates the slow rhythm of cosmic evolution. The quantum world, in contrast, is immediate, restless, vibrating with uncertainty. Particles appear, vanish, collide, and entangle in a soft, unpredictable dance. You feel both forces as rhythms, one deep and enduring, the other delicate and fleeting, and notice how they intertwine in ways both gentle and profound. You drift into a region where the boundary between scales becomes perceptible. Here, the curvature of space-time subtly affects particle motion, and quantum fluctuations, in turn, influence the paths of light and energy. You sense the quiet intimacy of this meeting, a delicate balance between order and unpredictability, stability and fluidity. The universe hums softly, teaching that extremes are not separate but interwoven. You imagine a photon traveling near a massive star. Gravity bends its path in an elegant curve, like a river flowing around a stone. Yet quantum fluctuations ripple through the vacuum, nudging it ever so slightly, an imperceptible tremor in the photon's journey. You feel the intricate choreography of forces, the soft music that shapes reality from the smallest scales to the largest dot. You reflect on the interplay of predictability and chance, Gravity is a slow, patient sculptor, carving structures over eons. Quantum mechanics is an improvisational dancer, improvising within constraints. And yet, in their meeting, the universe achieves subtle elegance. Stars form, galaxies spin, planets orbit, and life emerges, all guided by the soft negotiation between these fundamental influences. You drift alongside a quantum wave, approaching a massive body. Its oscillation is gentle, rhythmic, carrying potential across space. As it nears the gravitational field, its path bends, its amplitude shifts, and you feel the quiet dialogue between energy and curvature, between possibility and structure. Even at the smallest scales, gravity's whisper reaches outward, subtly shaping motion, gently directing rhythm. You notice that these interactions are not chaotic. They are a meditation in motion, a slow unfolding of complexity from simplicity. The rules of each scale are distinct, yet they mesh seamlessly. The quantum and the cosmic are not enemies, but collaborators, weaving reality from the threads of certainty and uncertainty, mass and vibration, structure and fluctuation. You imagine entangled particles floating near a gravitational well. Their states, already delicately linked, respond subtly to the curvature around them. A gentle tug, imperceptible but real, nudges their dance. You sense that even at vast distances, gravity and quantum behavior converse. Their language, one of rhythm, motion, and resonance, quietly shaping the cosmos. You float further, observing the formation of a star from a cloud of gas and dust. Gravity pulls relentlessly, compressing matter into a dense core. Inside, quantum pressure resists collapse, particles pushing back, vibrating against confinement. You notice the balance, the slow, powerful sculpting of gravity against the subtle, intrinsic motions of quantum particles. It is a meditation on equilibrium, forces opposing yet cooperating, each essential to the dance of creation. You feel the warmth of fusion igniting within the nascent star. Hydrogen nuclei collide, quantum tunneling, allowing reactions that seem impossible. Gravity, patient and persistent, holds the core in place. Quantum mechanics, delicate and precise, enables the spark of light, the gentle birth of energy that will illuminate galaxies and worlds. You realize that the cosmos itself is a symphony of intertwined forces, each scale supporting, guiding, and enhancing the other in silent collaboration. You drift into the expanse of a galaxy, watching stars orbit a central mass. Gravity choreographs their paths with patience and inevitability. Yet quantum effects ripple outward, influencing magnetic fields, radiation, and the dynamics of interstellar matter. You feel the continuous dialogue, the soft negotiation between deterministic pull and probabilistic motion. The universe is not a rigid machine, but a living, breathing meditation in forces. You imagine the delicate tension in neutron stars, where gravity compresses matter to extremes. Quantum degeneracy, pressure resists further collapse, particles vibrating in constrained harmony. You feel the paradox, immense force contained by subtle, intrinsic motion. Here, at the meeting of extremes, you sense the quiet poetry of balance, the elegance of opposing principles, creating stability, light, and life. You drift closer to the quantum foam at the edge of space-time. Tiny fluctuations ripple through the void, appearing and vanishing, while gravity curves paths and subtly shapes the larger field. You feel the resonance, the subtle echo of one scale influencing another, and you perceive that no part of the universe exists in isolation. The very small and the very large are threads in a single, intricate tapestry. You notice the gentle tug of gravitational waves passing through quantum fields. Space vibrates softly as ripples from distant collisions propagate. Quantum particles respond with delicate tremors, and you feel the interconnectedness of scales in ways that words cannot capture. It is a quiet meditation, a recognition that influence transcends boundaries, and that harmony exists even in seeming opposition. You float in reflection, sensing the universality of these interactions. Every star, every planet, every particle participates in this gentle negotiation. Forces intertwine, energies shift, matter responds, light bends, and time itself pulses. The universe is alive with interwoven motion, subtle and profound. You feel a quiet reverence for the complexity, patience, and grace of these forces. You imagine the cosmos as a great symphony. Gravity plays the deep, resonant tones, slow and deliberate. Quantum mechanics contributes the delicate, intricate melodies, soft and unpredictable. Together, they weave harmonies that form galaxies, stars, planets, and the very possibility of life. You sense the poetry of interaction, the gentle rhythm of existence, and you rest in the understanding that extremes are not opposed, but joined in creative dialogue. You drift through nebulae, watching gravity sculpt clouds of dust and gas, while quantum effects govern temperature, density, and the ignition of new stars. You feel the quiet patience in this interplay, the careful negotiation between persistence and motion, between inevitability and possibility. Every formation, every collapse, every spark of energy is an expression of this intertwined dance. You notice that this balance exists on every scale. Even on Earth, in your own body, forces interact in delicate equilibrium. Gravity shapes oceans, mountains, and landscapes, while molecular motion, quantum interactions, and thermal energy sustain life. You sense the echo of cosmic principles mirrored within yourself, a meditation on the universality of intertwined forces. You imagine light traveling across the cosmos. Gravity bends its path, quantum fluctuations ripple along its journey. You feel the gentle tug of interconnected forces guiding its motion, as if the universe itself whispers in delicate harmonics. Even in darkness, in vast emptiness, the interplay continues, invisible yet profoundly shaping reality. You reflect on observation itself. The act of noticing, measuring, interacting, collapses possibilities. Just as gravity and quantum vibrations shape outcomes in their silent interplay, you feel a quiet kinship with the universe, an awareness that your presence is part of the meditation, your consciousness participating in the elegant, intertwined dance of forces. You drift further, imagining the earliest moments of the cosmos. Quantum fluctuations created the first seeds of structure, and gravity drew matter together, forming stars, galaxies, and clusters. You sense the delicate dialogue that shaped the universe, a gentle unfolding that continues even now, an ongoing meditation on interconnection, balance, and harmony. You notice the subtle symmetry in motion and interaction, Opposing forces do not cancel, but enhance, complement, and guide. You feel the poetry in this balance, the elegance in the gentle tension between extremes, the quiet understanding that life, motion, and matter emerge from cooperation. You drift in stillness, feeling the universe's heartbeat at every scale. Quantum tremors, gravitational pulls, cosmic waves, particle oscillations, all hum together, softly, rhythmically, intimately. You sense that the universe is not divided into large and small, fast and slow, but is a single, continuous meditation where every interaction resonates with everything else. You drift into the vastness of space, where darkness is soft, velvety, and alive with possibility. Light arrives, subtle and profound, from stars both near and impossibly distant. It moves with quiet determination, a messenger that never tires, tracing straight paths while bending around gravity, carrying the story of creation across eons, whispering secrets of cosmic order. You feel its gentle pull as a caress across your consciousness, guiding your awareness through space. Photons emerge from nuclear fusion in the heart of a star. They are born in bursts of energy, luminous yet delicate, and begin a journey that may take thousands, millions, even billions of years. Each photon is a traveler, moving tirelessly through empty space, carrying within it the signature of its origin, the warmth of creation, and the faint echo of time itself. You imagine following a single photon as it escapes a star. It flickers, dances, and threads through the interstellar medium, bouncing off particles, bending around gravity wells, yet always moving onward. Its motion is quiet, rhythmic, a subtle heartbeat within the cosmos. You feel connected to this tiny traveler, observing its path as if you too were a part of its journey. Light is both particle and wave, a duality that seems paradoxical yet is perfectly natural. You sense the poetry of this, sometimes tangible, sometimes diffuse, existing in a spectrum of possibility that mirrors the quantum dance beneath it. You realize that photons, in their ceaseless travel, are teachers of impermanence, showing you that motion can be both constant and subtle, inevitable yet delicate. You notice how light interacts with matter, bending, scattering, and reflecting. Galaxies glow, nebulae shimmer, and dust carries the faint traces of distant suns. You feel the interconnection of energy and matter, the subtle choreography that allows the universe to be seen, touched, and understood. Even in darkness, light leaves traces, illuminating paths, revealing textures, and shaping perception. You reflect on the way light encodes information. Every photon carries data, its wavelength, polarization, energy, and direction. When it reaches your eye, your telescope, or a distant sensor, it tells a story of its origin, a narrative of nuclear reactions, magnetic fields, and gravitational curvature. You feel the elegance of this cosmic communication, the way the universe whispers its history through the gentle dance of illumination. You imagine streams of light curving around a black hole. Some photons escape, tracing arcs that reveal the invisible contours of space-time. Others spiral inward, lost beyond the event horizon, their energy absorbed, transformed, yet never forgotten. You sense the fragility and resilience of light, its ability to traverse emptiness, resist absorption, and reveal truths along the way. You drift along a nebula, watching light scatter across dust clouds. Red, blue, and violet rays diffuse gently, creating a tapestry of color and motion. Each photon's path is influenced by local conditions, yet the overall effect is harmonious. An interplay between chaos and order, randomness and pattern. You feel a quiet resonance in this observation, a meditation on how subtle forces create beauty. You imagine the cosmic microwave background, light that has traveled since the earliest moments of the universe. Its journey is long, quiet, and profound, a soft echo of the birth of everything. You feel a connection to this ancient glow, a sense of witnessing the passage of time itself. Light is both messenger and memory, carrying the imprint of creation across space and eternity. You notice light as a sculptor of perception. It reveals contours, shadows, and textures, shaping how you perceive form and distance. Even in total darkness, the potential for illumination exists, waiting to be expressed, noticed, and appreciated. You sense the gentle rhythm of photons arriving, interacting, and departing, a subtle heartbeat that guides consciousness through the cosmos. You imagine traveling alongside a beam of light through interstellar space. It encounters gas clouds, magnetic fields, and gravitational wells, each interaction altering its path, stretching its wavelength, coloring its experience. You feel the universality of these interactions, the way light connects points across space, linking atoms, stars, and galaxies in an intricate web. You reflect on the speed of light, constant yet relative. Its motion shapes causality, structures events, and defines the flow of time. You sense that light is the thread by which the universe weaves continuity, and you rest in the awareness that even the fastest traveler must navigate the gentle curves of space-time. You notice how light enables observation itself. Without it, stars would remain hidden, galaxies invisible, and the cosmos silent. Every act of seeing is a meditation on photons, a gentle acknowledgement of energy, motion, and information passing from one point to another. You feel a quiet gratitude for these luminous threads, these subtle carriers of knowledge, beauty, and connection. You drift along auroras on distant planets, watching charged particles excite the atmosphere. Light dances, ripples, and shimmers, painting the sky with ethereal patterns. You feel the softness, the gentle motion, the meditative rhythm of these luminous threads. Even in chaos, there is harmony, subtle yet perceptible, a poetry written in photons, magnetic fields, and motion. You imagine the light from supernova, explosions so immense that they outshine entire galaxies. Yet this light travels calmly, steadily, eventually reaching your awareness as soft illumination. You feel the paradox, violent creation producing gentle perception, immense energy translating into delicate traces of understanding. The universe expresses itself with both force and grace, and you are invited to follow, witness, and reflect. You notice gravitational lensing, where light curves around massive objects. A distant galaxy appears, stretched, duplicated, and bent. Yet the effect is serene, revealing hidden structure without disrupting harmony. You sense the universe as a painter, using light to sketch form, guide perception, and evoke wonder. You reflect on the duality of light as both energy and information. Each photon carries potential, movement, and history, yet interacts subtly with matter, to reveal form, color, and motion. You feel the meditation in this interplay, the gentle rhythm between what is sent and what is received, between source and observer, between universe and consciousness. You drift through star clusters, observing light bouncing between dust, gas, and plasma. The interplay is soft, rhythmic, and delicate, a quiet ballet that reveals the interconnectedness of matter and energy. You sense the patience of light, traveling across unimaginable distances, persisting, arriving, informing, illuminating. You imagine light interacting with your consciousness. Photons enter your eye, stimulate neurons, evoke images, memories, and wonder. You realize that seeing is a meditation on motion, energy, and perception. Each act of observation is an acknowledgement of the universe's poetry, a gentle recognition of the luminous threads connecting all things. You reflect on the subtle influence of light on life itself. Photosynthesis, vision, circadian rhythms, all depend on photons, tiny messengers of energy and information. Even the smallest wavelength can awaken a reaction, a change, a perception. You feel a quiet reverence for the universality of light, its capacity to shape matter, consciousness, and experience. You drift further, imagining the interplay of light with gravity and quantum fields. Photons bend, oscillate, entangle, and interfere, creating patterns that reveal the underlying structure of the universe. You sense the elegance of these interactions, a meditation on the unity of forces, the poetry of motion, the rhythm of existence. You notice that light is both guide and companion. It illuminates, informs, and connects, while carrying energy, memory, and information across space. You feel the gentle hum of photons around you, a quiet symphony of motion, energy, and perception. Even in the deepest darkness, the threads of light remain delicate, persistent, and profoundly instructive. You imagine following a single beam to the edge of the observable universe. Its journey spans billions of years, traversing empty space, passing galaxies, nebulae, black holes, and clusters. You feel the timelessness of its motion, the gentle continuity that links all events, all objects, all moments. Light is the thread of existence, weaving past, present, and future. You drift in this luminous meditation, aware that photons are not just messengers, but artists, sculptors, and guides. Their motion shapes perception, their presence conveys history, their oscillation carries energy and influence across the cosmos. You feel the quiet poetry in every ray, the meditation in every pulse, the soft rhythm in every journey. You reflect on your own awareness of light. Your perception is an intimate collaboration with photons, each photon entering your mind's eye carrying information, memory, and subtle energy. You sense that consciousness and light are partners in observing the universe. Two threads intertwined in a quiet, ongoing dance. You float gently, observing, listening, and feeling the soft illumination. The universe is alive, with light, moving, vibrating, and shaping perception. Every photon is a story, a meditation, a connection, and you are part of this luminous, gentle tapestry. You drift beyond the luminous threads of light, leaving the brilliance of photons behind. The glow of stars fades gently as you enter a quieter, more mysterious realm. Here, the universe stretches into darkness, not empty, but woven with unseen threads. These are the hidden structures, vast and subtle, shaping galaxies, clusters, and cosmic flows. You sense the quiet presence of dark matter, a gentle scaffolding upon which the visible universe rests. You feel the gravity of this invisible matter as it bends the paths of stars and galaxies. It does not shine, it does not glow, yet its influence is profound, persistent, and essential. You sense it not with light, but with the rhythm of motion, the curvature of space, the gentle tug of unseen weight. Even as your eyes perceive nothing, your awareness feels the presence, a subtle, meditative recognition that the cosmos is layered, textured, and intricately woven. You imagine a galaxy spinning gracefully, its spiral arms tracing elegant curves. You notice that its stars move, as if guided by invisible hands. These hands belong to dark matter, forming a halo that cradles the luminous mass. You feel the quiet balance, the soft negotiation between the seen and the unseen, and sense that stability, order, and structure depend upon forces hidden from ordinary perception. You drift further into the cosmic web itself, a vast network of filaments connecting galaxies across unimaginable distances. Dark matter threads these filaments, stretching, bending, shaping the large-scale architecture of the universe. You sense the gentle tension in these invisible strands, a subtle pull guiding the motion of matter, the formation of stars, and the flow of energy. You notice voids between filaments, regions of relative emptiness. Yet even these are defined by the presence of dark matter elsewhere. Space itself is patterned, organized, sculpted, a meditation on the interplay between presence and absence, visibility and subtlety. You feel a quiet awe at the complexity, the hidden elegance that underlies all cosmic structure. You imagine yourself as a voyager among these filaments, floating along invisible threads that crisscross space, feeling the pull of unseen mass beneath you. It is gentle, persistent, rhythmic, a soft reminder that the universe's shape is more than what is visible, that shadow and substance coexist in perfect, delicate balance. You consider the role of dark matter in galaxy formation. Without it, clouds of gas could not collapse, stars could not ignite, and the universe would remain formless, empty, and silent. You feel the subtle artistry of these hidden forces, guiding, shaping, and sustaining the luminous. While remaining itself unseen, you drift alongside clusters of galaxies, watching them orbit around invisible centers. Gravity pulls, mass responds, light bends, and yet the structure remains hidden to ordinary sight. You feel the universality of these motions, the quiet poetry in alignment, and sense the calm patience of dark matter, sculpting cosmic rhythms over eons. You imagine filaments stretching across millions of light years. Along these threads, galaxies migrate, collide, and merge. You feel the gentle pulse of cosmic flow, the quiet heartbeat of a universe in motion. Even in apparent stillness, structure emerges, guided by forces invisible yet profound. The universe is alive with hidden order, and you are immersed in its subtle meditation. You notice that dark matter does not interact with light directly. It passes through stars, gas clouds, and planets without friction or resistance, its presence known only through gravitational influence. You feel the delicate mystery of this, a silent, unseen companion shaping reality. Even in invisibility, there is form, influence, and poetic resonance. You drift along filaments where matter is denser, sensing the gradual accumulation of galaxies. Gravity and dark matter together create wells where luminous matter can gather. Stars ignite, galaxies form, clusters evolve, and cosmic harmony emerges. You sense the quiet interplay of forces, the way hidden scaffolding supports visible structures, and the subtle balance that allows the universe to flourish. You imagine the cosmic microwave background as a faint glow, tracing the distribution of matter in the early universe. You feel the subtle imprint of dark matter in these ancient patterns, the quiet presence that guided the emergence of clusters and filaments, and sense the meditation in this layered, interconnected structure. You drift into a void, a vast emptiness surrounded by filaments of matter. The darkness is not empty, but shaped, defined, and held in tension. You feel the invisible threads stretching across space, a network that links galaxies, clusters, and stars in a delicate balance. Even in silence, the universe hums, its melody composed of visible and invisible matter, motion and rest, light and shadow. You notice that the cosmic web is fractal, self-similar at different scales. Filaments branch, clusters form nodes, and patterns repeat, a meditation on scale, repetition, and harmony. You sense the quiet intelligence of this structure, its subtle elegance, guiding motion, shaping events, and sustaining existence. You imagine drifting alongside a galaxy as it moves along a filament. Its stars orbit its center, clusters tug gently, and yet the galaxy flows along the hidden thread. You feel the gentle balance between freedom and constraint, between visible motion and invisible influence, and sense the soft rhythm of cosmic structure unfolding over eons. You notice the interaction between dark matter and normal matter in star formation. Gas clouds collapse within invisible halos, igniting stars in patterns shaped by unseen forces. You feel the meditative poetry of creation here, the interplay between light and shadow, matter and invisible scaffolding. The universe speaks in a gentle voice, teaching that the unseen often guides the visible in subtle, profound ways. You drift among clusters, observing gravitational lensing that bends light around invisible mass. You sense that even the faintest bend is a whisper from dark matter, a quiet signal of hidden presence, a meditation on subtle influence. You feel the poetry in these interactions, the elegance of guidance without interference, the gentle shaping of form without visible hands. You notice how the cosmic web influences the evolution of galaxies. Some drift slowly along filaments, merging gently, forming spirals. Others encounter denser nodes, where collisions trigger starbursts and new structures. You sense the universality of this rhythm, a meditation on interaction, alignment, and gentle guidance across space. You drift into the early universe, imagining the first moments of structure formation. Quantum fluctuations, seeded variations, and dark matter guided the gathering of mass into filaments. You feel the quiet dialogue between small and large scales, between subtle potential and persistent influence, and recognize the patience of the cosmos in shaping all that exists. You imagine the hidden web stretching across the observable universe. Filaments connect clusters, dark matter cradles luminous structures, and every motion, every orbit, Every ripple is guided by invisible hands. You feel the meditative continuity, the quiet architecture that underpins cosmic life. Even the largest voids, the emptiest spaces, are defined by these unseen threads, a meditation on presence through absence, and order in subtlety. You notice the unity between forces, scales, and structures. From quantum tremors to luminous threads, from gravity to dark matter, the universe is a continuous, interconnected meditation. You feel that nothing is isolated, nothing exists independently, and that even what cannot be seen contributes to the poetry of existence. You drift in reflection, sensing the quiet hum of the cosmic web. Galaxies orbit, clusters sway, filaments stretch, and dark matter holds it all together. The universe is alive in invisible architecture, and you are immersed in its gentle rhythm, a witness to the meditation of hidden forces shaping visible reality. You float beyond the familiar threads of light. A soft, vast emptiness surrounds you, yet it is alive with a subtle, pervasive energy. Space itself stretches, galaxies drift apart, and the universe seems to breathe. You sense the quiet influence of dark energy, an invisible force that gently drives expansion, subtle yet omnipresent, shaping the cosmic rhythm. Galaxies move, not because they are pushed or pulled in conventional ways, but because the fabric of space itself is stretching beneath them. You feel the profound, almost meditative nature of this expansion. Distances grow, but there is no chaos, no disorder, only a calm, patient unfolding of the universe's vast architecture. You notice the faint hum of acceleration in the motion of distant galaxies. Redshift stretches the light reaching your awareness, a gentle signal of expansion, a soft voice from the cosmos itself. You feel a sense of wonder as the universe grows silently, and your mind drifts along with the stretching fabric, floating on currents invisible, yet undeniably real. You imagine following a photon traveling across billions of light. As it journeys, the space through which it moves expands subtly, its wavelength stretching, carrying the story of cosmic acceleration. You sense the elegance of this effect, the quiet rhythm in which space itself participates in the evolution of the universe. You drift past clusters of galaxies, observing the increasing distance between them. You notice that no visible force is acting directly, yet motion unfolds. You sense the poetry in this paradox, expansion without visible cause, a gentle stretching of space that guides matter and energy alike. Even in the emptiest regions, dark energy whispers, influencing the grand design, a subtle meditation on presence through absence, influence without form. You reflect on the balance of forces in the cosmos. Gravity pulls matter together, shaping galaxies and clusters. Dark matter cradles luminous structures, guiding formation and motion. And now, dark energy gently separates, stretches, and accelerates the cosmic flow. You feel the delicate tension, the interplay of contraction and expansion, stability and motion, order and growth, woven into a timeless meditation. You drift alongside a galaxy, feeling its quiet drift apart from its neighbors. Stars remain bound within, yet the space between galaxies widens imperceptibly. You sense the harmony of motion, the quiet rhythm of expansion playing across the vast emptiness. Even the largest structures are carried on currents invisible, guided by forces felt rather than seen. You notice the effect of dark energy over cosmic time. The expansion accelerates slowly, imperceptibly, shaping the large-scale structure of the universe in a gentle sweep. Filaments stretch, clusters separate, voids grow, and yet there is balance, rhythm, and subtle order. You feel the meditation inherent in this vast unfolding, a quiet lesson in patience, persistence, and the nature of change. You imagine the early universe, when expansion slowed under the pull of gravity. Matter clumped, stars ignited, galaxies formed, all under the gentle influence of gravity and dark matter. Yet, as the universe aged, dark energy emerged, softly accelerating expansion, guiding matter along new cosmic paths. You sense the elegance of timing, the poetry in delayed influence, the way unseen forces shape events with subtle grace. You drift along the edge of a supercluster, watching neighboring clusters slowly drift away. The space between them stretches, yet no visible hand moves them. You feel the gentle, invisible tug of dark energy, a force of expansion that permeates all of space, quietly sculpting the evolution of the universe without disrupting its inner harmony. You notice that dark energy is uniform, pervading all regions equally. It is not localized, not clustered, not attached to matter. You feel its gentle constancy, an omnipresent meditation that underlies motion, structure, and time. It is subtle, yet pervasive, like the softest vibration beneath an orchestra of cosmic activity. You imagine following a beam of light traveling through the expanding cosmos. As space stretches, the wavelength lengthens, the color shifts, and yet the photon continues unbroken, resilient, carrying information from distant pasts. You feel the connection between light and expansion, how invisible currents shape even the paths of the universe's messengers. You drift into the emptiest regions of space, vast voids where galaxies are sparse. Even here, dark energy exerts its influence, stretching distance, moving clusters, shaping structure, and guiding the flow of matter. You sense the quiet patience in this process, the gentle unfolding of expansion over billions of years, a meditation in motion. Invisible, yet undeniably real. You reflect on the paradox of the universe, that most of it is composed of unseen, mysterious energy. Ordinary matter, light, and even dark matter are but whispers within the vast expanse. Yet these hidden components dictate the rhythm, the growth, the unfolding of cosmic story. You feel the poetry in mystery, the meditation in unknown influence, the quiet awareness that the universe's essence extends beyond perception. You drift along the cosmic horizon, observing the increasing speed of expansion. Galaxies recede ever faster as space stretches, their light arriving redshifted, stretched like soft silk across eons. You feel the gentle pulse of acceleration, the quiet persistence of a force beyond gravity and matter, guiding the cosmic dance with a subtle, invisible hand. You imagine the future of this expanding universe. Galaxies drift farther apart, clusters fade, voids grow. Light travels longer, time stretches, distances expand beyond comprehension. Yet, in this vast meditation, you feel calm, a recognition that expansion is not destruction, but the gentle, patient unfolding of cosmic rhythm. You notice how dark energy interacts subtly with other forces, Gravity holds structures together. Dark matter cradles luminous mass, and dark energy stretches space between them, a delicate balance of cohesion and separation, motion and rest. You feel the quiet poetry in this interplay, the harmony of invisible influences shaping all that exists. You drift along the edge of a galaxy, observing the distant redshift of neighboring systems. Each photon carries a story, a whisper of acceleration and expansion. You sense the meditative pulse of space, a rhythm of growth, quiet yet profound, subtle yet all-encompassing. Even in emptiness, there is presence, motion, and gentle influence. You reflect on your own experience of cosmic expansion. Even as you rest in stillness, the universe moves and breathes around you. Invisible forces guide galaxies, shape structure, and orchestrate growth. You feel a deep kinship with the cosmos, an awareness that expansion is a meditation you can feel, not just observe, a rhythm connecting all scales. From the smallest particle to the largest cluster, you drift along, imagining space itself stretching like a soft fabric. Galaxies glide on this expanding tapestry. Light stretches and redshifts, matter flows along cosmic currents. You feel the quiet artistry in this process, the subtle, gentle shaping of a universe in patient motion. You notice that the accelerating expansion reshapes your perception of the universe. Distances are not fixed, structures evolve over time, and the cosmic story is ongoing. You sense the poetry in this unfolding, the gentle rhythm of forces working beyond perception, guiding the universe with patient elegance. You reflect on the meditation inherent in dark energy's influence. It is subtle, invisible, yet essential, shaping space and time without force or friction. You feel the quiet persistence, the gentle shaping of infinity, and sense that understanding is not always through observation, but through feeling, through awareness of rhythm, motion, and presence. You drift into stillness, sensing the universe expand around you. Galaxies glide, voids stretch, and light travels across widening space. Dark energy whispers its quiet influence, a meditation in motion, invisible yet undeniable. You feel the harmony of expansion, the poetry of motion, and the gentle rhythm of cosmic unfolding. You imagine the universe as a vast, breathing organism. Space stretches, matter flows, light travels, and time unfolds. All is connected, all is rhythmic, all is part of a gentle meditation. Even what is unseen guides what is visible, and every motion, every photon, every particle participates in the quiet, expanding dance.